here at Local 725 in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I have the pleasure of talking with...
My name is Jay Smart. I'm the business manager of Ironworkers Local 725. I represent over 800 ironworkers in Southern Alberta.
Can you tell me some stuff about this specific Local 725, like how it started, why did it start, and so on?
Our local was chartered 75 years ago, and we just recently celebrated our 75th charter anniversary in May. Quentin was good enough to join us at that event. It was really good. Lanny McDonald was there as our keynote speaker. We represent over 800 ironworkers in Southern Alberta in many different facets of the trade. We have reinforcing ironworkers, which are the rebar workers or the rod busters is the term that most people are familiar with. We represent structural ironworkers on the high rises on the I-beams. We have structural welders, and we also have precast installation crews and curtain wall crews.
So I believe there's 3 potential trades, if I'm wrong, do correct me, that someone could come to your local and become certified in. Is that true?
That's correct, yeah. So we have the reinforcing trade, which is the rebar trade, obviously forms the skeleton of the building. Reinforcing ironworkers go in, lay the rebar out, tie it up, and then the concrete pourers come in, put the concrete in, and essentially that creates the foundation of the building. We also have structural ironworkers, which you'll see up in the air, working with the cranes, putting in I-beams and joists and trusses and stuff like that to form the building. And we also have precast installation crews who go out, and you can see it on the Lowe's or your Costco's or any of those kind of warehouses where they put the big concrete Lego blocks up against the side of the building to form the outside of the building. So those are a few of the facets. We integrate welders into both the structural steel side of things as well as the precast side of things, and sometimes into the reinforcing as well. So yeah, I would say it's fair to say that we have 3 different divisions of our trade that you could look at getting into. Yeah.
I'm going to ask this question from a scaffolder's perspective. So as a journeyman scaffolder, if I wanted to transition from scaffolding to carpentry, I have X amount of hours that would be acknowledged into a different apprenticeship. So I become a journeyman scaffolder, I would be recognized as a second-year carpenter. In your guys' field, how does that transition from being a rod buster to a structural ironworker or to a welder even?
It's very similar. You would be credited for the first year of hours that would be required to go to your first year of technical training. Essentially, if a journeyman or a journey person rodman came and wanted to try their luck at the Scotia Place as a structural ironworker, they would be essentially sent out as a second-year apprentice. The rates are really competitive. And yeah, it would just be that easy, just transitioning over, getting your contract done with AIT, signing up, paying your $35, and getting on as a new apprentice for structural.
A question I see a lot on social media is, am I too old to get into the trades? Is being in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, 50s maybe, is that too old in your opinion to get into a trade?
I don't think so. I think there are many different facets of our trade that is inclusive to everybody. I will say it's unfortunate, we see the non-union come in at the age of around 40 talking about how they've realized the importance of a pension. It's unfortunate because they've lost those years, but it's never too late to start building a pension. Our pension rates are up around $6 an hour, and people can retire with dignity now. So I think we can find places for just about any age group right now. Opportunities to be a groundman where you're hooking the steel on, where it goes up to the guys in the air who are a bit younger and a little more shape and able to climb around. So I would say that it's open to any age class.
So when I first got out of high school, like living in Grand Prairie, if guys wanted to go work on the service rigs at 16, they could do that. Some people had to have their parents sign off, unless your father was like a tool pusher or a consultant, then there was like a little whatever. In the trades, whether that be an iron worker or I think other trades, you have to be at the minimum age of 18. Is that correct?
We've actually dispatched some people 16 and up. Not all contractors will bring people onto site that are under 18. Typically it falls under what the GC rules are, so the general contractors rules. But we have dispatched some of the kids from our high school programs onto job sites for even just the summer until they go back to high school. So we've done a pretty good job of getting 100% employment for the people that come through our pre-apprenticeship programs, our high school programs and stuff like that. So it just really depends on the job site itself, or maybe the contractor might have some stipulations. If we do some digging, we'll find a place for young people 16
so really
and up.
It comes down to the contractor's policies and what they're going to be like yes or no with.
Yeah, and most of our contractors are really good about working with the young people because they've recognized that these high school programs and these pre-apprenticeship programs are the ways that we are going to be able to fill the boots for our trade on the go forward. So we have a lot of support from our contractors. Again, there are some general contractors, site operators who might not allow people under 18. We just got to do a bit of juggling, but in the past, I don't think we've come to one instance where we weren't able to get somebody out at 16 years old.
So it is a good possibility. If I'm in high school, I'm in grade 10, 11, or 12, if I'm looking for summer employment, there's a possibility, not a guarantee, but a possibility I could come to this local, sign up, get sworn in, become a member, and during those summer months, I could potentially find employment.
Absolutely.
Somewhere in the city.
Absolutely. Our contractors are really good about working with young people who are considering going back to high school, because in these high school programs, we really promote finishing your general diploma. We want you to finish your high school because nobody can ever take that away from you. Yes, we've developed a relationship with our contractors where they will actually accommodate some of the young people to go to work, like you say, through the summer, build up a little bit of a bank account, and then they'll give them a layoff to go back to school in the fall.
So because we're on the topic of high school students and summer work and such, how does that vary in pay? And like what I'm asking is, if I come on potentially 16 or 17 years old, would I be brought on under a first year's wage, or would I be brought on as a laborer through you guys?
No, we dispatch at first year rate. For reinforcing, it's $28.70 an hour right now. And if you were a structural first year apprentice, it'd be $31.71 you'd be going out at.
Okay, so while we're on the topics of your rates, so first year, I don't know you guys' rates.
That's
so I'm
fair.
going to ask that because that's going to be a question that a lot of people want to know. Yep. And usually for a lot of people, you can talk about benefits and all these things, but the thing that screams out at a lot of people is money.
And so first year for a rod buster would be $28.70 per hour.
Okay.
And the first year for a structural would be $31.71 per hour. And then once you work your way up to journey person status, a journeyman rodman would make $47.83. And a journeyman structural would be $48.79 per hour. So it's based on the amount of hours you have in and a percentage of the journey person rate. So with rebar, it's 2 terms of school. So once you receive a certain amount of hours, you will be notified by our contractor and you will be bumped up to that second year rate. You're able to go to school at that point. Once you accumulate at second year rate, the applicable number of hours, you'll be bumped up to third year rate. And basically, once you're gone through your second year of school in rebar, go right to journey person status, which again is $47.83.
So we know the trades is a very male-dominated industry.
Yes.
But what about if you are a woman and you want to become an iron worker? How would you go about that? Is it the same process, or are there different steps that they can take? Are there different resources in place that they can utilize?
There are several different tools that they can utilize. Actually, we built a business plan when I first took over as business manager. One of the main things we wanted to do is increase the females in our local by 50%. So we want to essentially double what we had currently. We've done a pretty good job of that. Through our Tradewinds Success program, we have seen some really good female apprentices come out of that program. Even the high school programs that we put on with the TEPF, we usually have 1 or 2 females in those classes. So we're doing a good job of trying to grow it, but we're always open to bring in more females into the trade, absolutely. And I think that, women building futures, good tools across the industry that females can use to come into the union hall. But again, it's as easy as coming in and talking to us.
I wish I would have asked this earlier. So when we were talking about like kids in high school that were looking for jobs, sometimes there are girls that don't want to be a nail tech or work in a salon. If they wanted to come out here, lace up some boots, throw on a tool belt, yell at the top of their lungs, climb a column, that's a possibility for them too. Is that not true?
Absolutely it is. Some of the biggest badasses we have are female members. We've got female members that we've got from the Tradewinds Success program that are pushing crews for our rebar crews. Seeing great success with females in our trade. So we're always open to being inclusive. So yeah, absolutely. It's as easy as coming in and talking to us.
Let's say I'm First Nations or even Métis and I want to become an iron worker. What kind of resources do you guys have available for that? Or what do I need to do, and like what kind of steps do I need to follow to make that happen for myself?
We have a couple of different groups that we work with. We've done work with the Congress of Aboriginal Peoples, which is a federally funded opportunity. We work with Tradewinds Success. We've had a partnership with them for going on 20 years. I am proud of the fact that I would say comfortably 40% of our membership is Indigenous, myself included. I'm Métis, so we're very proud of that. We've got Lyle Daniels with the Building Trades of Alberta that does a great job of helping us create partnerships and relationships with Indigenous communities all across Alberta, not only Southern Alberta, which is my area, but all across Alberta. So we've actually mobilized our training. We've gone down to Bigani. We've done an 8-week program down there, and essentially with the TEPF, which is essentially a high school program. And some of those folks were actually able to build wind turbine bases at a rebar on their own traditional lands. So yeah, absolutely. 40% of our membership is Indigenous.
Regardless of my age and my background, let's say I have absolutely zero experience in the whole blue collar world, and I decided, man, I saw a cool video on TikTok or Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and it was watching guys climb the column, walking beams. I want to be an iron worker. What do I need to at least get my foot in the door, whether that be tickets or even potentially an education?
Essentially just the courage to come in, Quentin. As easy as opening the door. We're pretty down to earth here. We understand that not everybody's going to know exactly what an iron worker does. So the first thing would be to come in, meet us again, go over some of the stuff that we provide at the Union Hall side of things. Again, we have those three tickets that are going to be required. We provide that training here at our hall to new members at no cost. One of the biggest expenses for new people coming into the trade is the belt, as I'm sure you're aware. You know, a rebar or structural belt can be upwards of $500. Not everybody coming in looking for a job is going to have that money available. So we've been diligent on digging up UTIP grants, federally funded grants. Our apprenticeship coordinator has been really good about finding grants that would cover the cost of belts. So currently, we're in a situation where we can provide that training to the member. We can get them a set of boots, we can get them a hard hat and a belt to go to work. As soon as they have the tickets and the belt, we'll get them out.
So as a scaffolder, my slowest time is usually the winter. All the turnarounds are done, they're cutting projects down, and it's just mostly maintenance. Maybe the odd job here and there pops up. For iron workers, when is your guys' slow times?
It would be similar. It would be the fall to the winter months. But the nice part about being a part of an international, which is an international organization, which we are, it's all through North America, is when things are slow here, if you have your red seal, you can go anywhere with that ticket. Nobody can ever take that ticket away from you, and you're certified to go to work anywhere in North America. So you can find out which locals across the international are busy, and that's available to you. You can post into those jobs. Most of the time, travel is given to you as well, so you can take a flight, go to work on all these big nuke plants and stuff like that. So I would say, yeah, the fall to winter months can be a bit slow here. It's looking like we are going to be busy over the next 3 years. We're hitting a really big craft power struggle right now, so we're actively recruiting and trying to retain members for these projects currently on the go for the next 3 years.
Just to reiterate, currently right now, you guys, you want members. You want people to come in, get signed up. Like, you are actively looking and wanting members
Absolutely.
to join this local.
Absolutely we are, especially in the reinforcing sector. Our contractors are just starting to ramp up. It was a bit of a slower beginning to the year for us, but we could see it coming. It just seems like everything, as construction does, is all hits at once. We've got Scotia Place downtown where we've got AGF doing the rebar on that job. We have Walters Inc. Doing the structural steel. So we are going to be actively looking for people for probably the next year or two, for sure.
While we're talking about members and traveling, for example, journeymen's being able to travel as long as they have the red seal very easily. But what about an apprentice? What if it was slow here in Calgary, but maybe Vancouver was just screaming for guys and they wanted apprentices? Is it just as easy for an apprentice to travel as it is a journeyman?
Yeah, I would say so. You know, each jurisdiction that you're going to work in is going to have different thresholds that they have to meet as far as apprentices to journey people. So I think it's fairly easy. You know, if you've got your gear, you've got the tickets that are necessary, and you go pop into BC's Union Hall and talk to Doug Parton at 97, he's going to get you out as a second or a third year apprentice.
So if someone lives in the Calgary area or surrounding area, how do they go about becoming a member?
We are a commercial local primarily. We do get some maintenance work. We're working on trying to grow that market, and we do get a bit of industrial work as well. So essentially, most of our work is done inside of our 45-kilometer free zone. We're more personal in our local. We prefer that a new member or a potential new member come in and actually meet us in person like you did today. It gives us a chance to showcase our training facility, our hall, which we're very proud of. You know, it gives me an opportunity to explain my role as the business manager, what they can expect from me. We have an apprenticeship department. It's good for them to meet Chris, our apprenticeship coordinator, and his group, and essentially just go over some of the big things like your health and welfare plan. Our health and welfare plan is a Cadillac plan. I've looked at other plans. Ours, and not to be biased, but ours is one of the best in the industry. Talk about our pension plan, what they can expect when it's time to retire, what's going to be there available for them. The apprenticeship fund is another fund that our contractors pay into, which provides tons of training. We have members that are, you know, they have 3 red seals, so they have the opportunity to go get a welding, a reinforcing, and a structural red seal. So it's good to get people in so they can see what our members have built here as far as our hall is, and just let them know what we do to represent them and what's going to be available to them as far as, you know, pension benefits and apprenticeship fund.
some locals or some contractors have agreements with places like Job Site Workwear, Mark's Work Warehouse, or other places that sell protective equipment, or I guess what you want to call swag, but essentially work gear or even tools. Do you guys have relationships with companies of that nature?
I know the Ironworkers, like the Ironworkers of Canada, have a relationship with Marks, and there's a percentage off. I think it's 10 or 15% currently. Most of our gear that we sell in-house would be at better prices than what somebody would find at National Concrete or whatever. I think our bolt bags are $20. When you go out and buy them in the store, they're probably 40, right? So a lot of that stuff we sell in-house cheaper. Yes, there are some relationships out there like Mark's.
If you guys didn't know, the Building Trades of Alberta, they also have a relationship with it's a family-owned company here in Alberta. It's Job Site
Seen something
Workwear.
about that, yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
like nothing against Marks, but if you want like better area selection, ruthless rednecks, or
Better stuff,
Carhartt,
right? Yeah.
they got some badass fucking swag.
I'll have to do some digging on that for the members because
Some
it's
of
good
it's
to
pretty
get
cool,
that out,
man. Some of it's cool.
Good.
Anyway, I'm gonna leave that in there. Someone sponsor me. Cool. Anyway,
Sponsor 'em.
Yeah, I wish.